is, from the wonders of South America to the endless history of Europe, there's something worth discovering in every corner of our world. This video is a long one, so I made timestamps so you can jump around to your favorite locations. Let's start this video off in Cape Town, South Africa. If you love ocean and mountainous landscapes, you're in luck because Cape Town has both. One of my favorite features of Cape Town is Lion's Head. It's this wizard hat shaped peak that you can hike to the top of. Another wild spot is Table Mountain. You can take a cable car to the top and it offers some of the most incredible views of Cape Town from up there. Now, one of the best beaches in Cape Town is Camps Bay. The water may be chilly, but it offers some spectacular scenery all around. While we're still in South Africa, we're going to visit Drakensberg. It's a set of mountains on the South African Lesotho border, and it's home to some of the most incredible scenery. One of the craziest places is Tugela Falls, with a height around and they are frozen in time. After, we're going to visit Tanzania. I think Tanzania is one of the most incredible countries in Africa. From the safari to Mount Kilimanjaro, there's just so much to see. If you like tropical vibes, you can visit Zanzibar. It's this island archipelago located just off the coast of Tanzania. It's home to white sand beaches and a phenomenal coastline. Another one of my favorite places in Tanzania is the Serengeti. When it comes to the African safari, the Serengeti is one of the best places to witness Africa's wildlife. It's home to the Great Migration, which is when the wildebeest make a circular loop around the Serengeti into Kenya's Masai Mara every year. Now, the crowning feature of Tanzania and Africa in general is Mount Kilimanjaro. It's the tallest place in Africa and also the highest freestanding mountain in the world, with an elevation of 5,895 meters. What's great about Mount Kilimanjaro is that it can be summited without climbing gear. The journey takes anywhere from 5 to 10 days to complete. Man, I'd love to do it someday. Now, one of the best places to view Mount Kilimanjaro is from the Amboseli National Park. It's located right across the border in Kenya, and I think it has one of the best views in the world, not only because it has a great view of Mount Kilimanjaro, but it's often coupled with animals such as elephants roaming free throughout the park. I mean, it's a scene straight out of The Lion King. Now, afterwards, we're going to venture to Ethiopia to visit the Simien Mountains. They are home to the highest point in Ethiopia. Now, one of my favorite features of the Simien Mountains is its wildlife. They are home to the Kalada baboon, also known as the bleeding heart monkey, which can only be found in the Ethiopian highlands. I mean, it's just such an interesting part of Africa. Now, afterwards, we're going to visit the islands of the Seychelles. Now, located in the Indian Ocean off the coast of East Africa, the Seychelles are an archipelago made up of 115 islands and are home to some of the world's most famous beaches. Now, when you find the Seychelles, you'll probably come to the island of Mahi. It's the biggest island in the archipelago and also home to Victoria, which is the island's capital. Now, there's a lot to do and see on Mahi, and it's also a great place to venture off to the other islands. One of the most famous places in all the Seychelles is the beach called Anse Source d'Argent. It's located on the island of La Digue, which you can reach by taking a ferry from the neighboring islands. It's often rated as one of the world's most beautiful beaches, and I totally understand why. It has these massive granite boulders that create an otherworldly landscape. After, we're going to visit Madagascar. After Indonesia, Madagascar is the largest island country in the world. One thing unique about Madagascar is that 90% of its plants and animal species are found nowhere else in the world. One of the most famous places in Madagascar is the Baobab Avenue. It's this dirt street lined with Grandidier's baobab trees, which are over 30 meters tall and almost 3,000 years old. Another destination to visit in Africa is the island of Réunion. Located in the Indian Ocean, Réunion is a French territory with some of the most incredible terrain. It's a volcanic island and totally reminds me of Hawaii. One of the most striking features of the island is the volcano called Piton de la Fournaise. It's currently one of the most active volcanoes in the world, with its most recent eruption in 2020. Réunion just has some of the most insane scenery. After, we're going to visit the nearby island of Mauritius. Unlike Réunion, Mauritius is its own country. It's an incredibly beautiful island with impressive mountain peaks and landscapes. Probably the most well-known feature of Mauritius is its underwater waterfall. While it isn't actually a waterfall, it creates an illusion of one and can best be seen from the air. Now after, we're going to head up to Egypt to visit the Pyramids of Giza. As one of the ancient wonders of the world, I think the Pyramids of Giza are some of the most baffling and intriguing structures on Earth. To think that thousands of years ago, millions of massive stone blocks were used to build one of the largest structures on Earth, it's just hard to comprehend. Now the pyramids are full of mystery, like how in the world were they built, what was their purpose, and just many other questions. Some archaeologists believe that the pyramids served as a tomb for the pharaohs, but I think they had a different purpose. Another interesting fact about the pyramids is that the coordinates are the exact same numbers as the speed of light. I mean, whether that means something or just a crazy coincidence, it's definitely something to think about. Now afterwards, we're going to head over to Jordan to visit Petra. Famous for being one of the wonders of the world, I first remember seeing Petra in the Indiana Jones movie. It's believed that the area was settled by the Nabateans around the 4th century BC, where they made Petra as the capital city of their kingdom. I think the most impressive place in Petra is the treasury. It's this temple that was carved straight out of sandstone rock, and it's believed to have served as a mausoleum for the Nabatean kingdom. It got its name as the treasury because local Bedouins believed treasure was hidden inside. While we're still in Jordan, we're going to head over to the Wadi Rum Desert. Located near the border of Saudi Arabia, Wadi Rum is this incredible desert landscape with unique rock features. It's been the filming location for movies such as Aladdin and Star Wars. It really feels like you're on another planet here, and no wonder why so many films are created in this beautiful desert. Now afterwards, we're going to head over to Saudi Arabia. Located in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia was a rather mysterious country until it opened its borders to tourists in 2019. The largest and capital city of Saudi Arabia is Riyadh. It's a major financial hub and full of fascinating skyscrapers. Now one of the most interesting places in Saudi is called Al-Ula. It's located in the northwestern part of the country, and it's home to some fascinating rock formations and ancient tombs. The area was founded back in the 6th century and it's just full of so much history. After, we're going to head over to the UAE to visit Dubai. Now Dubai is one of the wildest places I've ever been. It's basically what happens when a city has a blank slate and limitless budget to make some of the craziest buildings and structures in the world. It's home to the Burj Khalifa, which is the world's tallest building at 830 meters high. When I was there, I went to the top 124th floor, and afterwards I went down to watch the spectacular Dubai fountain show. It was such a cool experience, and I just had a great time walking around and enjoying the light show on the Burj Khalifa. One cool thing I did while I was in Dubai was I went on a desert safari. We went out to the middle of the desert and got in some cars and rode on the dunes. It was a little sketch, but I had a good time watching the sunset and experiencing the crazy deserts of the UAE. After, we're going to head over to the Himalayas to visit Nepal. Now nicknamed the roof of the world, Nepal is home to 8 mountains that are over 8,000 meters high, including the world's tallest peak, Mount Everest. If you do visit Nepal, you'll probably fly into the capital city of Kathmandu. It's a bustling place surrounded by the Himalayan mountains, famous for its temples and monasteries. Now one thing I want to do someday is hike to Everest Base Camp. You can start by flying into the sketchy Lukla Airport and then take about 2 weeks to make the round trip journey. Base Camp is up at an elevation of 17,600 feet. I mean, Nepal is such an incredible country, and I hope you all can visit. After, we're going to visit the country of Pakistan. I think Pakistan is one of the most underrated countries in Asia. It has a vast array of landscapes, but my favorite feature of Pakistan is its mountains. They are absolutely unbelievable, and after Nepal, they are home to the tallest mountains in the world. One of the most intriguing places in Pakistan for me is Fairy Meadows. It's this beautiful base camp that you need to take this sketchy road to get to. It's shadowed over by Nanga Parbat, which is the 9th tallest mountain in the world at 8,125 meters, and the overall scenery here is just mind-blowing with the glacier and everything. I mean, Pakistan's mountains truly are on another level. After, we're going to visit the country of Sri Lanka. Located right below India, Sri Lanka is an island country full of lush landscapes and intriguing destinations. One of the most recognizable places on Sri Lanka is Sigiriya, or Lion's Rock. It's this massive monolith that sticks out of the landscape, and on top of it there's an ancient fortress that was built in the 5th century AD. Today it stands as one of the best preserved examples of ancient urban planning. Afterwards, we're going to head over to India to visit the Taj Mahal. Now, when I think of India, the Taj Mahal almost always comes to mind. It was completed in the year 1653 and took over $1 billion adjusted for inflation to complete. It was built by the Mughal emperor at the time as a place to house the tomb of his favorite wife. It just blows my mind that this was created almost 400 years ago. Today it stands as a symbol for India and receives over 6 million visitors a year. Another intriguing destination in India is Varanasi. Located on the Ganges River, Varanasi is one of the most religious and sacred sites in India as it serves as a central place for many traditions in the Hindu religion. It's one of the oldest continually inhabited cities dating back almost 4,000 years. I mean, the history and culture here is just on another level. Truly is an incredible place to experience. After, we're going to visit Ladakh. Located on the borders of Pakistan and Tibet, Ladakh is one of the highest regions in India as it's nestled in some of the biggest mountains in the world. Now, there's a lot of beautiful monasteries and sites to see, and the landscapes up there are just so interesting. It's also one of the best places to see snow leopards. Now, another scenic place in Ladakh is the Pangong Lake. 1/3 of it is India and the other part is in China. It's the highest saltwater lake in the world with an elevation of 4,350 meters. The color of the lake is this dark blue color that's such a contrast between the red, arid mountains. After, we're going to visit the country of the Maldives. Now, when people imagine paradise, the Maldives might come to mind. Located in the Indian Ocean, the Maldives is a country made up of 1,192 islands. It's famous for its white sand beaches, resorts, and crystal clear waters. I mean, if you're looking for an ideal honeymoon destination or just a relaxing vacation, the Maldives is your place. After, we're going to visit the country of Bangladesh. Almost completely surrounded by India, Bangladesh is a lush and vibrant country full of natural beauty and culture. The capital city of the country is Dhaka. Its old town is one of the most chaotic and wild places I've seen. If you want to see some of Bangladesh's nature, the Chittagong Hill Tracts offers some incredible landscapes with its lush rolling hills, and it's also where the highest place in the country is located. If you want to see the coast, Cox's Bazar is home to the world's longest natural beach for a length of 155 kilometers. Bangladesh really is an incredible country that deserves to be experienced. Now, afterwards, we're going to visit the ancient city of Bagan. Now, located in the country of Myanmar, Bagan is this ancient city and is home to over 2,000 Buddhist temples, pagodas, and monasteries. During the 9th to 13th centuries, the Bagan kingdom resided here, which later became Myanmar. Today, Bagan is one of the most visited places in the country. Afterwards, we're going to head to Angkor Wat. Located in Cambodia, Angkor Wat is a temple complex and it's the largest religious monument in the world. It's easily one of the most remarkable ancient structures on earth, and it's just hard to fathom this place. Angkor Wat was built in the 12th century by the Khmer Empire, and it took 28 years to construct and was first used as a Hindu temple dedicated to the god Vishnu. But towards the end of this century, Angkor Wat was used to worship Buddhism. Today, it's one of the most renowned and visited religious sites in the world, and I totally understand why. Now, afterwards, we're going to visit Vietnam to visit the Ban Giac waterfalls. Now, located in the northern part of Vietnam, straddling the Chinese border, Ban Giac is the biggest waterfall in Southeast Asia. I mean, the scenery here is just absolutely insane with the iconic Karst Mountains in the background. You can take a boat ride to get up close to the waterfall. I mean, this place is just freaking magical. Another amazing spot in Vietnam is Ha Long Bay. Located in the Gulf of Tonkin, Ha Long Bay is this incredible area made up of emerald waters and thousands of limestone islands covered in lush vegetation. Now, probably the best way to experience Ha Long Bay is by taking a cruise. It can just be a few hours, but I recommend at least doing an overnight cruise so you can witness the Ha Long Bay during sunrise and sunset. Afterwards, we're going to head to Thailand to visit the Phi Phi Islands. I first saw these islands while watching Leonardo DiCaprio's film The Beach. Now, to reach the Phi Phi Islands, you can take hour-long ferries from the nearby cities. The main islands have lots of amenities such as hotels and restaurants, and it's a great place to venture off to the other islands. I think my favorite one is Koh Phi Phi Lee. It's this insane island you can boat around and snorkel. Another amazing place in Thailand is Phang Nga Bay. It's this mangrove area located near Krabi, and it has this almost perfect winding river that cuts through the mangroves with jagged mountains on both sides. Another amazing nearby place is Railay Beach. It's located just outside of Krabi, and you can arrive by boat. There's just these massive rocks that overlook the beach, and it's a perfect place to watch the sunset. Afterwards, we're going to head to the mainland of Thailand to visit Khao Sok National Park. This place is just really interesting. It's this massive lake, and even though it was created as a result of a dam, the landscapes here are otherworldly. There's limestone mountains and rainforest vegetation home to animals such as the Asian elephant and tigers. If you can, I recommend staying here more than one day. You can spend the night on one of the lake's floating houses and just go hiking or boating throughout the park. After, we're going to head to the Philippines to visit Palawan. Now, when I think of the Philippines, the landscapes of Palawan come to mind: jagged limestone islands, crystal clear waters, and phenomenal landscapes everywhere you look. I think one of the best places in Palawan is El Nido. There's just so many little islands and places to venture off to. I mean, it truly is paradise here. Another nearby place is Coron. It has very similar landscapes to El Nido, but I'd say it's better for island tours and snorkeling. I mean, both are phenomenal travel destinations. After, we're going to head over to Indonesia to visit Bali. Bali has been one of the most popular travel destinations the last few years. With its relatively cheap prices and incredible tropical landscapes, it's easy to see why. One of the most popular places to visit in Bali is Nusa Penida. It's an island right off the coast of Bali. It's famous for having white cliffs coupled with perfect beaches. Now, the rest of Bali is just full of rice terraces, prime surf spots, and jungle waterfalls. After Bali, we're going to head over to Mount Bromo, located on the neighboring island of Java. I think Mount Bromo is one of the most impressive volcanoes in the world. The volcano itself isn't anything crazy, but the views of the massive crater and the other volcanoes in the background is just unbelievable. Although Mount Bromo is a very active volcano, you can hike up to the top and walk around its rim. Another one of my favorite destinations in Indonesia is the Komodo National Park. It's an archipelago made up of 3 islands, and it's home to the Komodo dragon. My favorite island in the park is Padar. It's this little island with no development on it, and there's also no Komodo dragons. You can only reach Padar by boat. I mean, I'd love to sail around these islands one day. Now, afterwards, we're going to visit Raja Ampat. Often called the last paradise on earth, Raja Ampat is an archipelago made up of 1,500 islands. It's known for having some of the most pristine marine life, and it's one of the best places in the world to go diving. One of the most impressive places on Raja Ampat is the Wayag Islands. There's just dozens of these little islets and coves to explore, and I can understand why it's called paradise on earth. After, we're going to head over to Australia to visit Whitehaven Beach. Regularly voted as one of the best beaches in the world, Whitehaven Beach is located on the Whitsunday Island, and it can be reached by taking a boat or seaplane. The sand is made up of silica, giving it this white color, and when combined with the blue ocean water, it creates this swirly turquoise mix that winds back into the island's inlet, and it's just incredible to look at. Now, probably one of the most famous places on Australia is the Great Barrier Reef. It's located in the northeastern coast of Australia, and it's the biggest reef system in the world, stretching over 2,300 kilometers. It can be seen from space and is the world's largest structure made by living organisms. No wonder why it's one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It's home to over 10% of all the ocean's fish species, and there's also plenty of whales and sharks there. I mean, it would be a dream to go scuba diving here one day. Another incredible place on Australia's mainland near the Barrier Reef is the Daintree Rainforest. It's a combination of mountains, untouched beaches, and possibly the oldest rainforest in the world, which began over 110 million years ago. The rainforest is home to animals such as the cassowary, which is one of the world's biggest birds. The Daintree Rainforest has landscapes that I had no idea exist in Australia. The area around Cape Tribulation is so scenic, with sea mountains covered in the lush rainforest vegetation. Now, afterwards, we're going to head into Australia's centre to visit the outback. When you look at Australia from space, you'll notice that basically all the cities are on the coast, but the interior of the country is this orange desolate landscape with hardly anyone living there, and that's the outback. The most iconic landmark of the outback is the Uluru or Ayers Rock. It's this massive monolith made up of sandstone. It's a sacred site for the indigenous Australians, believed to be a resting site for ancient spirits. There's definitely an energy there, and it's just bizarre how it sits alone in the desolate outback. After, we're going to visit the nearby country of New Zealand. Now, after seeing movies like Lord of the Rings, I think it's safe to say we all want to visit New Zealand one day. Now, New Zealand is made up of 700 islands, but the 2 major ones are the North and South. If you're down for more adventure and crazy landscapes, I'd say the South Island is where it's at. It's home to the Southern Alps, where Mount Cook is located. It's the tallest mountain in New Zealand and stands over 12,218 feet high. Another incredible spot is the Milford Sound. Described as the 8th wonder of the world, the Milford Sound is a fjord that was carved out by glaciers during the Ice Age. It's one of the wettest places in the world, and the whole area is just full of a rainforest and magical waterfalls. If you're more into beaches, the North Island offers so many. One of my favorites is Cathedral Cove. It's located on the Coromandel Peninsula and it requires a decent walk to reach the beach, but you'll be rewarded with one of New Zealand's most beautiful beaches. Afterwards, we're going to visit the beautiful islands of French Polynesia. Located in the South Pacific, French Polynesia is made up of over 100 islands. One of the most stunning islands is Bora Bora. I mean, look at this place. It doesn't even look real. Just how the islets and coral reef protect the island and crystal clear lagoon just blows my mind. It couldn't be more perfect. If you got some money to blow, you can stay at one of the ocean bungalows that are built right above the water. The center of the island is a dormant volcano called Mount Otemanu, and it stands an impressive 727 meters tall. Another one of my favorite islands in French Polynesia is Moorea. This place is just insanely beautiful. Similar to Bora Bora, the whole island of Moorea is surrounded by a protective coral reef, and the mountains here are just stunning. Another cool thing about Moorea and French Polynesia in general is it's one of the best places to see the humpback whales who come here during the late summer and early fall months. While we're still in the South Pacific, we're going to visit Rarotonga. As the largest of the Cook Islands, Rarotonga is home to 13,000 people. Now, similar to French Polynesia, Rarotonga has some impressive mountains and a coral reef that protects this little island. There's also this really cool rock formation called the Needle that is a fun hike to go on. Afterwards, we're going to visit the Isle of Pines, located just off of New Caledonia. The Isle of Pines is this really peculiar island. I mean, when I imagine a tropical paradise, I certainly don't think of pine trees, but the Isle of Pines sure is an exception. To reach the island, you can come by plane or ferry. Now, while you're there, you can explore the crystal clear lagoons, accompanied with white sand and endless pine trees. I mean, just such a unique and beautiful little island. After, we're going to head to the Caribbean to visit St. Lucia. Of all the Caribbean islands, I think St. Lucia is one of the most impressive. My favorite features of St. Lucia is its batons, which are these jagged mountains that come straight out of the ocean. I mean, I could totally imagine Jack Sparrow sailing his ship with this as his backdrop. Right above St. Lucia is the island of Martinique. It's a French territory, and it sure is beautiful. It has everything from historical towns to beaches perfect for surfing. The highest point on the island is Mount Pelée with an elevation of 1,397 meters. Right below the volcano is this town of St. Pierre. It was founded back in 1635 and was known as the Paris of the Caribbean. In 1902, Mount Pelée erupted and the whole town was sadly destroyed. Thankfully today, it's been restored and I just love the backdrop it has with the coast and Mount Pelée. Another one of my favorite places in the Caribbean is Guadeloupe. It's a set of 12 islands and like Martinique, it's a French overseas region. One of the most beautiful places on Guadeloupe is Terre de Haut. It's this little commune that you can reach by ferry from the neighboring island. Once you reach it, there's this fortification called Fort Napoleon, and it was built in the 18th century, and the views of the bay you get up there are just phenomenal. Now afterwards, we're going to head over to Central America to experience Belize. Belize is one of my all-time favorite countries. I may be a little biased because I lived there for over a year. It's one of the most colorful and diverse places I've ever been. It's home to the second largest coral reef system in the world, and it's home to animals, crystal clear waters, and ancient ruins. One of my favorite places in Belize is this ruin called Sunantinich. It's one of Belize's most impressive and easily accessible ruins. The Nantinich translates to sculpture of the lady. Another one of Belize's most iconic sites is the Great Blue Hole. I mean, when you think of Belize, this is what you'll probably think of. It's over 1,000 feet wide and 400 feet deep. Truly one of the most unique locations on Earth. After, we're going to head over to Guatemala to visit Tikal. Located in the rainforest of northern Guatemala, Tikal is one of the most incredible archaeological sites in the world. The area was first inhabited around the 6th century BC, but Tikal really began to flourish between the years 200 to 850 AD, as it served as the capital of one of the most powerful ancient Mayan kingdoms. At its peak, there was about 60,000 Mayans in Tikal and the surrounding area. I mean, I would love to go back in time and see what it was like to live back then. Around the end of the 9th century, Tikal's population plummeted, possibly due to overpopulation and lack of food. Today, it's an incredible place to visit. I love walking around and marveling at all the temples. Afterwards, we're going to head over to Mexico to visit the Pyramids of Teotihuacan. Located about an hour and a half outside of Mexico City, Teotihuacan is one of the most impressive archaeological sites in all of Mexico. It's believed to have been established around 100 BC and grew to be one of the largest cities in the world at its time, with an estimated population of 125,000 people. My favorite place there is the Pyramid of the Sun. It was constructed around 200 AD and is one of the largest structures in Mesoamerica. The Pyramid of the Moon is another impressive pyramid there. I just love how it's lined up with the Avenue of the Dead with the Cerro Gordo mountain as its backdrop. After, we're going to head to Venezuela to witness Angel Falls, known as the tallest waterfall in the world with a height of 979 meters. Now, special thanks to my buddy Ellis Van Jason for sharing his FPV footage from here and many other parts of this video. He ventured into the depths of the Venezuelan jungle for 2 weeks to get some of the world's most incredible footage of this waterfall. I mean, it's seriously jaw-dropping. I'll link his video of his Venezuelan adventure in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. Now, to reach Angel Falls, it's not an easy journey. You'll fly into this town of Canema, and from there you'll take a day boat trip up the river to reach the falls. While it's not an easy journey to get there, the falls are more than worth it. Now, while we're still on the topic of waterfalls, the world's tallest single drop waterfall is in the neighboring country of Guyana. It's called Curated Falls and has a height of 226 meters. You can reach the falls by flying into a small airport. I just love the remoteness of this place. There's literally nothing around besides the powerful waterfall. Afterwards, we're going to head over to Brazil to visit Lençóis Maranhenses. Located in the northeastern part of the country, Lençóis Maranhenses is one of the most unique landscapes in South America. It's these almost endless array of sand dunes that fill up with these Caribbean blue lagoons during the rainy season. You may recognize this landscape from the Planet Vormir in the Avengers movie. Afterwards, we're going to visit Rio de Janeiro. I was lucky enough to visit Rio de Janeiro a few years ago, and I have to say it's one of the most wild and vibrant cities I've ever visited. It's home to beautiful beaches and gigantic granite mountains. One of the most famous places in Rio de Janeiro is the Christ the Redeemer. It's this massive statue that's over 38 meters tall and sits on top of this stone pinnacle overlooking all of Rio de Janeiro. When I was there, it was absolutely packed with people, but I still had a great time walking around and marveling at this iconic location. Another one of my favorite places in Rio was Ipanema Beach. I mean, before visiting Brazil, this is what I imagined Rio to be like, and Ipanema Beach didn't let me down. I mean, Rio de Janeiro is just a vibe all around. After, we're going to visit Iguazu Falls. I think after Angel Falls, Iguazu is one of the most recognizable waterfalls in all of South America. It's located right on the Brazilian and Argentina border, and it's the most powerful waterfall system in the world. At its peak, Iguazu can have up to 300 waterfalls. The most recognizable feature of Iguazu Falls is the Devil's Throat. It's this horseshoe-shaped chasm where a majority of the water goes. After, we're going to venture down to Patagonia. Located in both bottom halves of Chile and Argentina, Patagonia is easily one of the most beautiful regions in the world. It has fjords like Norway, sounds like New Zealand, and the mountains are comparable to the Alps. Now, one of the most famous places in Patagonia is Torres del Paine. It's located on the Chilean side. Torres del Paine is a national park home to animals such as guanacos and pumas, and it's named after its iconic 3 granite towers. Another one of the most well-known places in Patagonia is Fitzroy. It's this mountain range located on the Argentinian side. I think it's possibly one of the most beautiful mountains in the world. There's several glacial lakes and viewpoints to marvel this mountain range from. I mean, the area is just spectacular. After, we're going to head over to Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui. Easter Island is located over 3,000 kilometers off the coast of Chile, making it one of the most remote islands in the world. It's believed that the island was settled around the year 1200 by Polynesians who sailed from French Polynesia. What makes the island so mysterious and famous is its moai statues. There are over 900 moai on the island, and the tallest reach over 10 meters tall. It's a mystery how these statues were transported, but it's believed that logs were used to move the moai across the island. Pretty fascinating stuff. After, we're going to Peru to visit Machu Picchu. Nestled in the Andes Mountains, Machu Picchu stands as one of the most incredible archaeological sites in the world. It was built around 1450 by the Incans and is believed to have been constructed as an estate for the Incan emperor at the time. Machu Picchu was abandoned in the year 1572, probably due to the nearby Spanish conquest, and many of the people may have gotten smallpox. The citadel was overgrown by the forest and remained hidden until 1911, when it was found by the American explorer Hiram Bingham. Today, Machu Picchu is one of the world's most well-known archaeological sites. To reach Machu Picchu, you can hike there, or you can also take a train. Afterwards, we're going to head over to Bolivia to experience the Uyuni Salt Flats. Located in the Bolivian Andes Mountains lies the largest salt flat in the world. One of the most peculiar places on the salt flats is this little island called Inca Huasi. It's located in the middle of the salt flats with nothing around, and it's home to giant cacti, and the landscape just feels otherworldly. Another interesting fact about these salt flats is that when it rains, it creates the world's biggest mirror. If you can't make it to South America, there's another salt flats called Bonneville in the state of Utah in the USA. I've been there several times and I can say both are amazing and worth the journey. After, we're going to visit the Galapagos Islands. Located right on the equator, the Galapagos Islands are a volcanic archipelago made up of 21 islands. They were discovered in the 16th century and later popularized by Charles Darwin, who studied the island's unique endemic animal species. Some of my favorite animals on the island are the marine iguanas and the blue-footed birds. After, we're going to head to the Hawaiian Islands to visit Kauai. Of all the Hawaiian Islands, Kauai is the oldest, making it the most beautiful and diverse. It's nicknamed the Garden Island, and when you go there, you'll understand why. One of my favorite places on Kauai is the Na Pali coast. There are very few places in the world, if any, that can match the beauty of this coastline. The Na Pali coast is filled with sea cliffs that rise over 1,000 meters from the ocean, contrasted with deep, narrow valleys that empty to the sea below. There are several ways to experience the Na Pali coast. One of the best ways is by helicopter. It can be a little expensive, but you're able to get incredible views of the cliffs. Another great way is through a boat tour. You'll be able to experience the coast from a new perspective, and you can also jump off the boat and do some snorkeling in the ocean. It's truly phenomenal. If you're on a budget like me, there's plenty of hikes and lookout spots you can go to have an amazing experience exploring the Na Pali coast. While we're still in Hawaii, we're going to visit the island of Oahu. Of all the islands in Hawaii, I have to say that Oahu is my favorite. I lived here for almost a year on the North Shore and it was some of the greatest times of my life. If you love hiking, surfing, and adventures, Oahu is the place for you. One of the most popular places on Oahu is Waikiki. It's a perfect combination of city and ocean. The beach is lined with high-rise hotels and it's a perfect place to surf and catch some waves. Another one of my favorite places on Oahu is the North Shore. The North Shore is made up of 17 miles of coastline that is home to some of the greatest surfing in the world. One of the most well-known beaches on the North Shore is the Bonsai Pipeline. The waves are created by a super sharp and dangerous reef that causes the waves to break just right. During the winter months, some of the most popular surfing competitions are held here and the waves can reach over 20 feet high. When there aren't crazy waves, I just love swimming on the North Shore. The water is so clear and the waves are so fun to swim in. After, we're going to head to California to visit Yosemite National Park. Now, Yosemite is one of the most stunning national parks in all the US. It's famous for its massive granite cliffs, clear streams, and gigantic waterfalls. One of my favorite features of the park is the Half Dome. It's this gigantic piece of granite that rises over 5,000 feet from the valley below. Another impressive feature of the park is the Yosemite Falls. It's one of the world's tallest waterfalls with a height of 1,430 feet. From Yosemite, we're going to take a drive on Big Sur. Located on the Pacific 101 highway, Big Sur